So the established Democrats took a shellacking last night. They are not happy. Brad Lander won his seat in New York's 10th district. He beat a two-term incumbent Democrat, Dan Goldman. Claire Valdez also beat her opponent. She was replacing a Democrat that was retiring and was going up against the Brooklyn Bureau president, Antonio Reynoso, and she beat him as well. Daria Liza Chevalier also beat an incumbent. That was an upset. Claire Valdez was in District 7, and Daria Lisa Cavalier was in District 13. Now, all three of these people were self-proclaimed Democratic Socialists, people with the same ideology when it comes to politics as Mamdani. These were all Mamdani-endorsed people. And the Democratic Socialists didn't stop there because they picked up about 6 seats in the state Senate. And all of this is despite all of the PAC money, all of the AIPAC money, the endorsements of Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, and even the governor of New York, Katherine Hochul. The people did not care. They don't care who was endorsing the opponents. They wanted to go with the Democratic Socialists. And some establishment Democrats are freaking out about this, pretty much saying, without actually calling any names, that if Democrats hate the Democratic Party, then they shouldn't run as Democrats. Like, if you hate the Democratic Party so much, don't run as a Democrat. Now, the problem with that is if they didn't, then they would fracture the party and the Republicans would just get it. So that's not smart to do it that way. But they're mad. They're in their feelings. So, we'll just let them have their little, their little establishment tantrum. Now, another reason why they are kind of freaking out about this too is because they say that the Republicans are going to be able to use the whole socialist word in races that are super close, which, because of the whole gerrymandering thing and the maps and all of that, they're going to have some super close races. And Republicans are going to use the whole Democratic Socialist thing, the word socialist, to try to scare people into voting for the Republican. I have so much to say about this story. It's not even funny. But the first thing I want to say is the Republicans are going to call you whatever they call you anyway. They're going to call you a socialist. They're going to call you a Marxist and all of the other words that they don't know the definitions of and they don't use properly or in their proper historical context. That is what Republicans do. And they do that because their base is extremely uneducated and very scarable. So that is not something that you should alter your policy to avoid, because it's going to happen anyway. Second, if you are worried about the Republicans using the word socialist to get votes, then why don't you actually educate people on what socialist means? And the difference actually between a socialist and a democratic socialist, because there is a difference and there is a reason why they call themselves democratic socialists and not just plain out socialists. I think the establishment Democrats understand the difference between a democratic socialist and a socialist, but they too are trying to fearmonger their base. Problem is, most Democrats are a little bit smarter than the average Republican. You can't scare them with words so easily. And when you have somebody like Mamdani literally boots on the ground showing people what a democratic socialist can do, you can actually make him your example as to what people can expect if they vote for you, if you lean into that ideology and stop trying to run over to the right. Newsflash. People who already lean right, people who are Republican or MAGA or whatever, people who are still in the pockets of Republicans and bone spurs, they don't like you. They are not going to vote for you. What you end up doing when you run to the right is you end up alienating the base on the left. And then you have a problem because those people don't turn out. There is a reason why 44% of this country does not vote. There is a reason why people literally stay home and think that their vote does not matter. And even if they think their vote matters, they think the outcome of their vote will not matter. Why? Because you keep running to the right. So why would somebody who really wants universal health care, universal child care, loan forgiveness, safety nets in housing and food, why would somebody who want these things keep voting for people who allow it to be taken away when they can vote for somebody like Mamdani, who is literally creating the things that they want. He has already, within 100 days, he had free childcare. Within 100 days, he was taxing the rich. Within 100 days, he was already getting rid of the rat problem. Within 100 days, he was already doing things that were tangible to the people. Creating community-owned grocery stores. Things like that to make sure that food security is a thing. And that brings me to my third thing. Y'all need to stop lying. You need to stop lying because you're not worried about the use of the word socialism. You're worried that people are going to see what the Democratic Socialists actually do when they're in office and ask you why you're not doing the same thing. You're worried that you're actually going to have to do something for the people and take a hit to your wallet when it comes to that tax cut that you guys always vote for and the donor money that you always take. You're worried about your pocket. You're worried about your bottom line. And you're worried that people are going to start voting you out. Something that I have been saying needs to be done. This is what I'm talking about. This right here. Vote them out in the primaries. Don't vote somebody that you think is electable because they are the status quo. Vote somebody that actually means something, that will actually energize the base. Vote for somebody who really has their district or their state at heart, who are really there for the actual people who vote for them, not the corporations, not for their own tax cuts, not so that they can reach across the aisle. I'm not saying they should never reach across the aisle, but what I'm saying is if your reaching across the aisle means pulling everyone to the right, providing less security for the American people, less democracy for the American people at the expense of their tax dollars, we have a problem. Now, I'm not saying that these Democratic Socialists that are coming in need to be obstructionists. I do not think that they should play an obstructionist role. There is an extreme that needs to be avoided. What I'm saying is, though, what the American people are going to see is more people fighting for them, not for tax cuts for the rich, not for is not so real. They're not going to settle for there's nothing we can do. These wins are telling you that they want more. They want people who can actually get things done, not people who keep talking about it, not people who put foreign policy and tax cuts for corporations before the average American. They want health care. They want a safe and stable environment to raise children. And people like Mamdani is letting the Americans know that it is possible, that people can actually get things done when they want to. And yes, I know it is different on Capitol Hill than it is being the mayor of a city. However, it's the can-do attitude for me. And this is just showing the American people what they need to do when it comes to unseating these Republican-light Democrats who play games in Washington and manufacture all of this outrage only to orchestrate 8 Democrats that vote with the Republicans. Democrats that just so happen to not be up for election. I haven't forgotten that. I have not forgotten that. So I'm glad that not only did the establishment Democrats waste all of their money, I'm glad that they are seeing the writing on the wall. The American people are tired. And if they don't want to be replaced, they better get a move on. Stop running to the right and do what is right for the people. Energize the base. Give them something to vote for, not against. And you'll never lose another election. There'll be nothing that the Republicans can say because the Republicans have, at this moment, the House, the Senate, the Supreme Court, and the White House. They have everything. And look at the state of the country. There's no coming back from that. If you can message properly, make Mamdani your face as to what you can do for the country if you have unchecked power. Y'all up here running from the word socialist when you can be using it as a sword. You can literally use that word as a weapon against the Republicans. Turn it back on them. All I'm saying is get it together.